So in chess, as in life, records are made and then records are broken. But sometimes we get some anomalies who just break all the records. And well, I think we've stumbled across the next chess player to do so. His name is Yağız Kaan Erdoğmuş, a Turkish player, a 14-year-old, and the youngest ever person to cross the rating of 2,600 FIDE. He became an IM when he was 11. He became the youngest person ever to reach 2,500, the youngest person ever to reach 2,600. He will be the youngest person ever to reach 2,700, in my opinion. As of now, he's currently the youngest GM. He got awarded it this year at the age of 14. There's been some 12-year-olds, but right now he's the youngest current holder. So he's a great chess player, and we're going to look at the game that got him the GM title. It was against Dusan Popovic, a fellow Serb. Sucks that he's on the wrong side of the title break, but no, this is a beautiful story. This is a beautiful game. And he does some freak attack type stuff, right? We always call the G4 the freak attack on this channel, so we're going to be looking into it. At the end of the video, I'm going to dedicate a minute to tell you guys where I've been. It's been 2 weeks since I uploaded, my plans moving forward. All good news, all good stuff. So if you're a loyalist, if you care, stick around. If not, vidimos. Adios. So we get the Philidor defense, e4, d6, d4, knight f6. The Philidor used to be a lot more popular. Okay, we get it from a weird move order, but this is the Philidor. It used to be a lot more popular, right? Black directly defends the e-pawn. He closes in his dark squared bishop, so it's not the happiest camper of the two bishops, but the light squared bishop, it quite is. It quite is. Now, if you're playing white, do not take this pawn because the queenless middle game, even though you're saying they can't castle, the argument that black has is that he's just going to go c6, king c7. And at the end of the day, his king is very safe. The knight can't come in to attack it. And it's a very comfortable position for him. And if bishop c4, king back to e8, still in equal position. Roughly so. So, in the game, we get the move knight f3, right? Principled chess. Control the center. Get the horses out. Good stuff. Knight bd7. All right. Popovic is like, I'm playing a kid. I'm going to play something not too theoretical. Maybe I'm getting him out of theory. And then Yağız hits him with g4, and he was like, oh, geez. I just thought of that. Wasn't even a good one. Pawn to g4, the freak attack. What is the point? What is black's best move? Well, black's best move is to take the pawn, but Dusan doesn't go for this. The reason he doesn't go for this is, I understand, if you haven't looked at this line, it's not a comfortable line to play, right? h5, h3, so inevitably the knight is going to be kicked back. And what does white get out of this? Well, this bishop is permabad, right? It's just permabad. It can't go over here. It can't go over here. You might be like, well, I'm just going to go g6 and fianchetto it. Well, then you're just losing the game. And see, so if you don't know this line, it's a very hard line to play against. And so for that reason, he doesn't take the pawn. He goes g6. Okay, white plays g5, and we get knight to h5. But you see, this is just not a good knight. This is just not a good knight, and that is why white has the advantage. It's on the side of the board. This pawn is very strong, taking care of some weaknesses, and this bishop is an abomination. Abominable. Is that a word? Abominable. Comment down below if that's a word. We got bishop to e3, bishop to g7, queen to d2. Which side of the board does white want to castle? Very good. I'm going to assume you guys got that right. Not because it's obvious, just because you guys geniuses. We're all geniuses in this life. So yes, castles queenside. We get castles kingside by black, opposite side castling, and rook to g5, rook to g1, solidifying the pawn there. So on g5. We get pawn c6. Okay, this knight cannot jump in. Maybe he's going to go for d5. Maybe he's opening the one pawn move changes the whole structure of the game, so it creates a lot of ideas. We get castles queenside, rook e8, and pawn h4. All right, pawn h4. Over solidifying the pawn here on g5. Queen c7 looks like a safe square to me, and pawn to d5. So you know, in chess, it's good to have space, right? This is like when you rent a 10 square meter apartment and you try to stretch and you're like, my arms are touching both ends of my apartment. And then you want to upgrade. You're like, I deserve a raise. I deserve a promotion, d5. Or when you try to cook in a, you know, not that I cook, right? Because I'm a dude, just kidding. When you cook, and I hate small kitchens. I really do. And, you know, I wouldn't even want my wife to have a small kitchen. I would like her to have space for when she cooks or she wants to. Bishop f8, knight to h2. So this knight is going to go to g4, jumping into the holes here on f6 and h6. Also, it's opening up this diagonal for the knight here on h5. And we get knight to b6. Okay, it's a game. These bishops, you know, not so good, right? Because it's a closed position. And these bishops, arguably, they're good on the queen side. These bishops, they don't yet have a purpose in life, but they're still searching. It's never too late to find a purpose in life. Bishop to e2, aiming at the knight here on h5, and then we get knight f4. Now this is a good positional motif. What should you do here? Well, you should keep the position closed. You might be like, I see a battery. That's 2 attackers, 1 defender. I'm just going to win the pawn. What does black get out of you winning a pawn? He gets the open diagonal with an absolute sniper rifle on g7. Don't do this. This gives your opponent a fantastic position for no reason. And as you can see, black is better. So that's not really what you want to do. That is not so much what you want to do. My computer's about to die, so let me plug that in as you guys do or don't click off the video. Your choice. Fine by me. Look at that. Imagine having such a short attention span that you clicked off for that. I am happy I am not you. Pawn to h5. All right, 2 pawns in black's territory. You had other moves, but h5 is good, right? He's just trying to steamroll. He's like, Dushan, you're 42 years old. I'm not. I'm just going to attack you. Dushan is like, okay, I'm going to take in the center. But this game actually goes back to equal, and it's a very good game. Very exciting game. So we get hg6, fg6. Okay, he opens up the f file. Who's that going to benefit? Who's the better player? No. Let me not say that. Who woke up on the right side of bed? Knight to g4, trying to infiltrate. Either to f6 or to h6, at which point g7 is going to be a mating square. So this knight is kind of a tank. And it's not so much like this bishop can trade itself for this knight, because then black is going to have problems, and black doesn't want to have problems, right? You can even envision some sacrifices on h7 alongside some mates. Could ya? Do ya? Hopefully. Knight takes e2. We get queen takes. He's like, I envision some mates. I'm going to take the light squared bishop. We get bishop to f5. All right, black does have the c file working for him, so he's got some dreams and aspirations, but not too many. He's like, I want to trade queens. Maybe I'll be okay with a draw. Do you want to trade queens? Because I really don't like this knight. I really don't like that my king is going to be weak soon. White's like, nah. Kind of want my GM title. We got queen h2, knight a4, knight takes, queen takes, and all of a sudden, the game is back to equal. Why is the game back to equal? Well, because of this c file. See, black coordinated his... In fact, shout out Dushan. You did a very good job. This bishop pair is now aiming at white's king, and, you know... I would honestly rather play black here, so respect. We get rook to g2, pawn to e4. All right, closing one bishop, but opening up the other. You know the drill. Knight to f6 check. And here, for the life of me, I don't understand what black was doing. Because, okay, I guess it was a 90-minute game. He has 30 seconds on the clock. I really hope that's not 30 minutes. But in a heartbeat, you take, and you go rook c7. And you do this in a heartbeat. So I don't know what he didn't like about this, but he didn't like something, and rather he went king f7, sacking the exchange. So maybe he thought the bishop pair would work well under time pressure. I really couldn't tell you. It was a blunder. It was a blunder. People blunder. Rook to c8, bishop takes b2. All right, he could have tried bishop to g4. You might be like, Balkan Dad, you suck. I would be like, yeah, I do, but not that much. Not as much as the person who said it. Right, queen takes b2, battery checkmate. We got bishop takes b2, king takes. I guess black was looking for a perpetual, but Yağız calculated correctly that there is no perpetual, and in this position, black did so resign, because I guess maybe they got extra time on move 30, and there's just clearly nothing here, right? You're just up a rook for a couple of bad pawns. So, Yağız, very good job, Dushan. You played a pretty good game, actually. Yeah, but it's crazy. I mean, 2650 at 14 is pretty crazy, right? I remember I thought it was a flex that I became a candidate master at like 13, 14, but this is like 2650 FIDE. That's Pretty ridiculous. So he has a bright future ahead. And now for the important stuff, for the loyalists. Where have I been? It's been 2 weeks. What are you doing? So I was in a village for 2 weeks, eating some organic, not even organic, imagine food being more expensive for it to be more natural, right? You just put it in the ground, let it grow. Yeah, you just give the animals good food. Crazy concept. The West doesn't understand it. But yeah, I love going to the village. I was there, and then I went to a mountain and saw my grandpa's brother. Is that a great uncle? I'm bad with. We call everyone brother and sister here. My brat, everything. So we don't really use all those like extended terms unless they're like really far away. But over here, everyone is considered your brother. So that's where I was. And then I was like thinking about my school because I have the courses in my head. They're all up here. And I was like, should I start making the videos? But I want the setup to be more professional. And I go back to the US in less than a month. So I'm just going to wait for those videos on there, but I'll be posting on YouTube now. I don't like to upload and then miss 2 weeks, upload, miss a week. So I was just like, I'll take a little bit of a break. And it's not too easy to do when you're traveling, especially with the time difference and work. But we will get back on the rhythm. Need to start streaming on Twitch. Podcast format would be great. What else could I talk about? I guess post your video recommendations down below. Missed you guys. Hope you guys haven't forgotten about me. That's okay if you have. Life's pretty busy. And yeah. Thank you as always for watching. See you next time. I just thought of something I want to say, but I'll leave it. Peace, boys. Boy.